trailer so much. Hello, afternoon adventurers, and welcome to the Maestro Media live stream. I am so grateful that you're here. We have amazing special guests today. This is our second show that we've done. That is show number 2. That's all about the Disney Afternoon Rewind. We're here to answer your questions. We are here to reveal. We have a couple of big reveals to drop today. I think it's a pretty packed show, and I'm extremely excited about what you're going to find out today. Let's start, though, with our guest. Returning today is the designer of the Disney Afternoon Rewind and the Rewind system, Nate Weisman.
Hi, how's it going?
It's good to see you again. Hopefully you've had a very good and productive week.
Yeah, it's been a fun week. We've been doing a bunch of tests of the game, and it's been going really well, and the campaign is doing great too. It's fun to follow along and see everyone get excited for each of the unlocks every day.
Yes. And just to give a little sneak peek today, you will see what today's unlocks are right here on this show, live before they go out in the update. So we're really excited to reveal that. But that's not the only thing we're going to reveal today. I next want to welcome Andrea Chiarvesio, who is designer and developer of countless games. Is the first time joining us here on the Disney Afternoon Rewind show. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, everybody. It's great and exciting to be here. I'm just back from Lucca Comics and Games, and before that, Essen, where we had our beautiful game on show.
Excellent. I hope you had a very, very good Lucca. It's one of my favorite convention I've ever been to in the beautiful city, and I know it rains there a lot. We were talking about that earlier. And also joining us is developer and designer of many games as well, Stefano Moscardini. Thank you so much for
Hello.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys.
Excellent. So I think we can just dive right in. I want to share with everybody something that we've been working on, something that's been requested a lot during this campaign. I am so excited to be able to talk about it for the first time here. This information will be in today's update that goes out, but you're going to be here today, the first to hear about it. It's something that's been requested quite a bit, and that is that Nathan, Andrea, and Stefano have been extremely hard at work on making a 2 versus 2. So this is a game which is was 2 teams. One player controlled each team. We now have an official version that actually works really, really well within the context of the Rewind system. And I think one of the things that I really liked about the ideas that you have and that you're bringing forward is that they really show the elasticity of the Rewind system and like how you can kind of push it in different directions. And it's because the core system's strong, it's going to allow you to do a lot of fun things. So I want to dive right in and talk about kind of what were you trying to accomplish with the 2 versus 2? Like, what were the challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I think we wanted 2 versus 2, obviously, to allow more people to play together and to just be able to have like kind of bigger, more epic experiences on the table. And so, like, especially as we introduce so many characters, I think we're up to the campaign's getting released, I think, like 60 something total characters. And like, with all those combinations and things, it's really fun to be able to not only create a team for yourself, but then have your friend create a team and see how they work together as well against your other friends. So it's something early on that we wanted to start playing with, and it worked pretty easily into the system. So we're excited to be able to talk about it.
That's great to hear. Oh, go ahead. I was going to go to you next.
Okay. I think the biggest challenge when it comes into transforming a 1 versus 1 game into a 2 versus 2 is to not just mirroring the dual part of the game, but to make the cooperation between the players that are on the same team to really matter. And that's where the system shines. It was the biggest challenge, but I think the way it works now, it's so great because you don't play your little game, but you truly play together with your teammate, and you need some serious teamwork in order to win the game. And now let Stefano speak. Sorry.
Yeah, the challenge was trying to keep the system as simple as it is in its core version and still give out the same feedback in terms of emotional experience for the players. But I think that adding a little bit of chaos to this game is not a flaw, is a perk actually, because sometimes you want to add that to the gameplay. And I think that this version of the system, this gameplay version, is adding the right amount of chaos and I think fun.
Yeah, it's good. We have a comment from Mad Dad 316. He was one of the people asking about this, and I agree. You know, a lot of people have 2 or more children, and if like I really have enjoyed demoing this with my young kids, this has been something they've really enjoyed. So it's one of those things where like it becomes an even more of a family game. I feel like. How do the teams work in it? So is there any specifics you can reveal?
Yeah, I mean, just roughly, like each team is going to operate similar to how you have your own team in the game. So you're going to build your own team for an amount of points. You're going to have your own deck, and then each round you're going to be playing your own cards too. So then your teammate and you would have the chance to plan for the round together, and then you move through the phases of the game the same way you do in the single player game or the one-on-one, but not with teams, where you were alternating players from alternating teams in the round. So it works pretty simply and fits within the, like, it's not a huge load to learn. And if you, the idea is that it feels intuitive to players who've learned the 1v1 game and are moving to a 2v2 game.
So it sounds pretty, so there's going to be a lot more characters, it sounds like, on the board for each game.
Yeah, I think to me that's one of the benefits. I think that adds that little extra add of chaos that Stefano was mentioning, and I think it does it in a nice way where like keeps the experience that one player has on their team pretty nicely, where the chance of seeing a card come up out of your deck and the decision space that you have doesn't get expanded greatly, and you get to use all your characters just as much, but then you get to see a lot more characters on the field and how they interact together as well.
That's excellent, and because there's more characters, it feels like it's going to already. The way the teams are created, where it's on a point system, you had a lot of different potential combinations within each box, and now that kind of explodes. Like I feel like there's going to be a ton of different, like just the way the teams can work together and the synergies that you're going to find between not only the characters in the core box, but also the many characters who have been added throughout the campaign that won't be in the retail box itself, in the core box itself. They're added for the campaign. Those characters are going to be tightly integrated with everybody else in there. Yeah,
totally. I don't want to be the only one talking over everyone all the time. So.
Well, I have a question. So from a developer standpoint, we'll start with Stefano. What's been the challenge to make sure that not only for the 2 versus 2, but also for the 1 versus 1, what's the challenge in working with so many different additional characters from a development side to make them unique and feel true to, you know, who the characters were on the show?
Yeah, it's absolutely challenging, and there's no deny it. But the point is that you don't have just the characters. You know, you have a lot of characters, 60 plus, and you have to make them work well within their teams against another team that's preconstructed, and then you can mix and match each one of them. The point is, you may play each character with each other character in each scenario. And that's the moment in which you stop working and stare at the mirror and ask yourself why. But that's a good part of the job. I mean, it's the fact that drives you every day, because when you see a problem, you try to fix it. And that's what drives a developer to do what he does. And this game lends itself very well to that, because there's a lot of combinations that are at the same time a hard load to bear when you have to balance it, but at the same time it's keeping the game fresh, you know. And it's true when you play it, it's true when you work on it. So I don't get bored of playing, testing, and balancing this game. That's what it is.
And then does this also increase the amount of playtesting that you're doing, Andrea, because you're suddenly almost doubling, or doubling in most cases, the size of the teams for the 2v2 to make sure that characters have they've got enough room to move and maneuver and actually maybe synergize on some of their special abilities.
Yeah, the biggest challenge here is really the math. Is really doing the combination between scenarios and single characters, and combination of possible characters, including all the extra, all the exclusive ones. It's really an incredible number. I mean, math is also our main line, because we can, of course, and we use some math to try to put all the numbers together and make sure that all the core and base abilities of the characters are balanced. And this is, let's say, the easy part of the job. The most challenging one is to make sure that when you mix everything, a few power combination don't go really out of control. And that is probably the hardest challenge. Like Stefano said, it's so interesting, it's so fresh. Every game is a new challenge and you discover something new. Most of the times you discover it works perfectly, but sometimes, oh, okay, no, we need to fix that. But it's what makes the game so good, and our job so interesting.
This is perfect time. We have a few viewer questions. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you are watching this after we've recorded it, by all means, leave questions in the comments below, where our team will answer them. I think the Maestro Media team is incredible when it comes to working with communication back and forth with the people that leave comments. We really appreciate when you guys point out things that we could do and what we can do better. And we love having those conversations. Maestro Media is very much a fan-centric company. Guillermo Goller writes, if you had to choose one part of the game that excites you the most, which would it be? And yes, you have to choose only one. Let's start with Nathan.
I don't know. It's a hard question. I think what excites me about playing the game is maybe a little different than what excites me about working on it. But maybe it's what excites me the most about working on it is figuring out how to really get each character to feel like themselves and like bring what we love about characters into the game and how we express that within the confines of what we have as a design space, which is like their kind of core abilities and then their inspiration cards and then how those things can work together. When I'm playing the game, I personally get really into and like enjoy the how the inspiration tokens work and the inspiration economy and the choices that how I use my cards and I think is and the generated resources and then also balancing like what inspiration I want for the turn versus what effect the cards give. I think creates a little puzzle each round that I think is really fun, and then how that plays out from the beginning of the phase where you play the card and then you see your friends different cards that they play, and then how you can like still have space to adjust your plan during the course of a round, but within a limited scope because you're already kind of hemmed in by the choices you made earlier in the phase. So that when I'm playing, I think is the most exciting like part of my brain that activates.
That's excellent. Stefano, what do you think?
Well, I'm not a forward planner, and so I can agree with Nathan. The fact that you must always face new challenges each and every turn, each and every round, because your character moves around the game state a lot from a turn to the other. And the thing is, each character is so peculiar, is so specific, and it has these effects that are so characteristic that each team that you build, each character that you use, actually forces you to approach the game in a different way, even the same scenario. And this, I like this a lot because it feels fresh each and every time. And of course, gives value to each and every character in their roles and in their teams. But yeah, like setting up a game and saying, okay, how can I do this actually? This is the greatest part of it for me.
Mm-hmm. Andrea, what do you think?
For me, it's okay. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to mention two things, both as a player, but I think it's basically the same. It's just has two faces, so it's just like a coin. So it's one thing. One is when I'm playing and I see characters for the first time, maybe in my team or even better in my opponent team. I'm always surprised by how unique they are, how the inspiration card does something maybe unexpected, and yes, that also makes it makes totally sense. She's Morgana, that's Monterey Jack, and it works. But I'm surprised because I don't know the card, I don't know the effect when I play for the first time, maybe also for the second. And the other great part about the game is that once you start knowing the characters and knowing inspiration cards, then you know not only your deck, but especially your opponent deck. At that point, since they will be playing one inspiration card, you don't know which one exactly, but if you manage to predict that correctly and play your cards accordingly, so gaining a little edge over the opponent, that's really a wow feeling when playing. So that's the part I love the most about the game. So yes, I basically cheated, but it's the same.
You totally cheated, but we'll allow it. I think that was a really good answer. All three, and I think it speaks really highly of the kind of the underlying design and how you kind of unite things and allow these characters to do this fun stuff and commit these objectives. And it kind of goes straight into the next question, which I love, by Hawher. They write, since the different universes and stories can collide, how did you manage the narrative part? And what I love about this question is that that's my personal favorite part of games is the emergent storytelling, the idea that no matter what, if you're dealing with an original setting or these amazing Disney IPs and getting that nostalgia, at the end of the day, there's nobody telling you what the story is. You're sitting down, you're playing it, and you're creating the story as you go. So how do you aid the players with the gameplay to tell those stories? Like, it's not just I moved here and this happened. It's like, Scrooge McDuck moved here and did this amazing thing, and then, oh my gosh, Huey, Dewey, and Louie got him back the next round, or whatever those stories are.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think for us, we really, for narrative for each scenario, really tried to make it feel alive and contained within that universe. That, like, the Darkwing Duck scenario is a story and a narrative about Darkwing Duck characters first and foremost, because we wanted to evoke that theme in that universe in that scenario. And then we likewise focused on making each character feel like in a vacuum, like themselves. So Darkwing Duck, you can drop him anywhere, he's gonna feel like Darkwing Duck. And then it's our intention that people play the scenarios and the characters of their universe and their thing, but we also are not telling you not to mix them at home. And so you're free to play with your toys when you get them at home however you want. And so we want to make sure that experience is good for players when they inevitably do mix and match how they want to. But as far as how we approach the narrative, at least for all the Disney properties, is we want to tell stories that feel evocative and thematic to the universes that they belong in, first and foremost.
I mean, as you're, and actually, so maybe this one's for Stefano first, like, as you're playtesting, are you telling yourselves these stories? Is that part of your thinking when you're not only looking at the hard rules and what's happening, but you're also like, is this cool? Is this telling a story? Is that something you think about?
It depends a lot on the kind of test we're running. There's a common misconception that all the tests are the same, and that's not actually true, because each and every time you're testing a specific element of the game. So when we're testing the balance, we don't really pinpoint our attention on the narratives, but we do that sometimes. We ask the players, the playtesters actually, to come up with the stories or to describe the ongoing narrative during the game. And this is super interesting because I think that Nathan designed the system and the characters to leave a lot of space for the emergent narration that comes out of a game, because having the characters self-contained, the narratives are all related to the interaction between the characters, and that's basically the basis of storytelling. Really, it's not the single character; it's the interaction with the environment and the other characters. So this comes out from the test. Sometimes players are so involved with the game that they just say stuff like, "Oh, and Goliath is throwing you off the building," and this is something that cannot happen in the system for obvious reasons, but they see that happening. And that's the magic of this kind of gameplay, really.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, Stefano is totally right. I admit that sometimes, even when testing balancing, I happen to wonder within myself in a very, very low inside voice, how the heck did this team was put together? And I try to imagine stories of those characters meeting and having a motivation for being involved in the adventure they are thrown in. But yes, Stefan is right. We don't usually do that all the time or during every playtest. But it happened like in some back place in your mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just find it this amazing alchemy because there's no inset narrative to this necessary game other than the things people are bringing to the table and then the actions the characters do, and I think they're super visual when you actually play. Like when I'm playing on the TTS, I can see it right away how that works. We can go to Mad Dad 316. Could you talk about how you approach the pacing of inspiration token games? So I love like these hard actual mechanic questions, guys. Are you ready for this? I'm interested in what you feel you were aiming for in terms of tempo and momentum across rounds. Good question.
Well, we started by grabbing a bunch of inspiration tokens and throwing them on the board. That's the starting point. It's always like that.
Yes.
Do you have a real answer that you want to give?
Yeah, no. Seriously, it's a great question because it's one of the hardest part to fine tune when designing. I'm not speaking for Nate, but I mean, and for us when balancing a game like this. It's been one of the topics we have discussed the most, I believe, especially in the first weeks, months of design and development.
Peacefully discussing. I want to make sure this is clear. Yes. We didn't fight about this.
Of course.
No, but I think it's maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, the feature of the game that took the most to find its perfect balance.
Yeah, I think so.
So feel free to go deeper.
I mean, it also it's the thing that we have the most that links into, because like everything in the game costs inspiration. So balancing how much a single ability costs an inspiration and how that affects how a character flows within the narrative of that game and all their how they get to use an ability. All those things really are tied together. And then on top of that, we wanted to make sure that the pace of a round didn't last too long, and the cognitive load. If we gave you a ton of inspiration tokens, that's more that you can do and more combinations of things that you can spend. So we wanted to make sure that we weren't ever putting players in a spot where there was too much to analyze, where they might put themselves into or think, especially since it's a competitive game, analysis paralysis can be kind of painful to sit through and watch someone take forever to take the turn. So we were considering all those things, and I think we got to a space where you have a really good wealth of options when you do play your card, especially as you save inspiration from turn to turn. And there are definitely abilities that produce more inspiration that give you kind of spikes of activity during the game, but overall allow the game to move pretty quickly and keep your options kind of limited to where you can kind of understand what choices you have in front of you.
Yeah, I think I really like the way because like you said, if there's too much, you're gonna give too many options to people in a game that really feels like this game wants to be fast and furious in a lot of ways. Like you're having this great, head-to-head competition, and you want to make sure that you're not going to stop on one side or the other side because somebody got too many, especially because there's a lot of decisions to be made. And I think this goes into the strategy of the entire gameplay, which is where's the inspiration going to go? And it's not necessarily like, you can have characters inspiring other characters, which I find a really interesting concept. What was the inspiration? What was the inspiration behind the inspiration points being shared amongst your characters?
It really came from a kind of a mechanical desire of wanting the game to be a mix and match, team building game. And then having a kind of core idea of what is going to be something that like tells you that these characters are better at working together and synergizing, or like different ideas. So that kind of is what spurred the idea of different inspiration types to kind of tie to different types of characters, and then building from there into like, so it was kind of always part of the whole system of how we wanted to create a system or an environment where people could be like, oh, that's a green-blue character. I understand what that means. And I want to get other green characters to work with it so I can use the green abilities more. That's a really dry mechanical, like why that, but that's kind of where my brain was started with where that came from. And then early iterations of the game had how that inspiration took form very differently. And then we, like over the course of a few months, iterated to where we are now. And I think it's the best version of it that we've ever had. And it feels really good. But it found its way into different way, like other iterations very differently, which was kind of funny to see.
I kind of still regret that we put away Stefano's idea of throwing inspiration.
It's always like that. Brilliant ideas putting you down, you know.
Yeah. It's my job just to tell you no. You know that,
right? you never do that. You should do that more.
So excellent question. Thank you, Mad Dad 316. Next up is from Ken Kelvin, who writes a great question, and it's not something that we've really gone into on either show yet. And I think it's such a cool aspect of the game. Ken Kelvin asked how the draft of characters work, and can you mix the good guys with the bad guys? And I'm smiling because I know the answer. So Nathan, do you want to explain a little bit of detail on how this works?
Yeah, without getting into too much detail, it's we don't prescribe any way that you're supposed to like draft characters going back and forth, or however you want with your teammates and or your friends, and how you have your collection, or if you have your different collections. But there is no restriction. Any character can be put on a team with any other character. And it's just every character has a point value, and you build up your team to the point value of the episode that you're playing, and that's it. So
And actually, this is good. I mean, speaking of characters, in the core boxes, there's 38 characters. Let me do the math here. So far in the campaign, we have revealed 16 unlocked characters. So that is a total of 54 characters so far that are already can be drafted onto teams. So you've got extras for Goof Troop, extras for Darkwing Duck. So that gives you a lot more options. And of course, it gives you a ton of options for the 2 versus 2 player, which is great too. And I think we're hitting the half-hour mark. So I think, should we reveal the next 2 unlocks a little early? The update's going out in half an hour, but I feel confident that people are going to want to see what we have to reveal today. Is everybody okay with that?
Sure.
We are going to do it. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in trouble now. Okay.
Too late. We're going to do it anyway.
Let's see. There we go. The first character that's going to be unlocked today is Peg from the Goof Troop. And I would love to hear about what her gameplay is, how it's different, and what she's going to add to your team.
Stefano, you want to?
Well, we wanted to be true to the character, like maybe even more than we usually do for the other characters, because Peg is a very strong woman, and sounds like a cliche, but in the show, it was in the 90s, and it was a character that was stopping the infighting between Pete and Goofy. She was the force that drove the fight sometimes, stopped the fight sometimes, so it's something that we wanted to represent in a very strong way. So she's basically, and surprisingly, a very good attacker, basically. She challenges in an area, so she has area effects that are very powerful and can stop you on your feet. And that's basically the main thing she does. And she's also kind of a support character because she interacts with the other characters in their team. And we may have surprises on that side, specifically on the mechanics.
In the show, she often berates Pete, which gets him angry, and there's a fun interaction in the game that mirrors that pretty well.
It's a super fun addition to Goof Troop. I really, really enjoyed her character when I was watching these shows originally. And that sounds like a lot of fun and kind of a mixed bag's not the right word, but there's like some positives and negatives to that one. So the next one, so as people who have been following the campaign know, every day there are 2 character unlocks. These unlocks are going to get us up to 56 total characters, and there's 1 unlocked for each of the 3-pack collection. So next one, Thaddeus E. Clang, Thad, as I call him, for Tailspin. Classic character. I imagine there was a lot of choices to be made with this one because I feel like there's a lot of avenues that could have gone down. That you could have gone down for gameplay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Andrea. Nate. No.
Oh, Nathan.
Nate. You go.
I mean, Stefano actually did the first pass on this guy's stuff as well, which I thought was great. And the idea to kind of base it off of the secret weapon of I'm gonna
Tinapula.
Tinapula. Yeah, there you go. And just it's a sound weapon. So the idea that it would be like we get to play with kind of what is a sound weapon in our game and how that we can mess with line of sight and maybe it being area effect and that kind of thing. So I thought it was a really clear, like, for people who know him and know the episodes that he's from, it's like, oh yeah, of course, that's what we want to do with him.
So those are our 2 big reveals for today. Everyone else will find out at the regular end of the school day bell when it rings at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And the updates go out. The updates will also talk about the 2 versus 2 player that we covered today. And please, if you have any questions about any of that, we're happy to answer right here on the live stream or down below. If you couldn't catch us live and you're watching us later, we have another question here from Guillermo again, who is asking, I think, a very good question. Which afternoon show has the best theme song?
Well,
I think Tailspin is my favorite.
no, why Tailspin? Dude, come on. It's DuckTales. Everybody knows that.
DuckTales, hands down. But maybe it's an Italian thing. Maybe it's because the Italian.
No, I think DuckTales is probably the most popular in the US too. I just, Tailspin is special.
I don't know. They
gotta beat Duckling Duck.
Let's see. Mad Dad 316 is gonna writes, what interaction of character combo has surprised you most in playtesting that you've seen, or of the characters we've seen so far?
No, I'm not going to reply to this question. I'm going to reply to a very similar question now. And that's when we were testing Goliath. Nate, do you remember that? We went down the hallway of saying, oh, he's overpowered. He's clearly overpowered. We need to tune him down. And this surprised us. This is the character, not character combo, but the character that surprised us because when we gave it to the playtesters, especially during the blind play test, when they just face the game like that without any explanation, a nickname came out for Goliath, and
I don't agree with this nickname. I don't think.
I don't agree. I don't agree. But it's Goliath the Pathetic, right? Was that it? And he's clearly overpowered.
Once.
Oh no!
You fail to perform once, you never live it down. That's.
That was surprising while testing the game.
That is the beauty of the playset. So currently, if you can reveal, is Goliath how many points is he on the team? Like, let's. I'd love to talk
Goliath
about.
Is a 6-point character.
Okay.
He's one of. There's only a few 6-point characters in the game, and he's one of them.
So he's a heavy. And then what are the other? What other point values exist amongst the other characters?
Most of the other characters are 4 points or 2 points.
Okay. So conceivably, you could have like a two character team and then a 5 character team going up against each other. So with the heavies, with the 6 point characters, I mean, those guys they've got to have some very powerful moves, I would imagine.
Yeah, they definitely are.
We do.
Yeah. Or they will after playtesting.
Yeah. We want them to be worth their points. So that, like, if you choose to take a 6-point character, you feel like you're getting something that's worth it for the lack of bodies that you're putting on the field.
Very, very good question, Mad Dad 316. I love that this is such an ongoing process, and so now that there's 56 characters, there's going to be more revealed coming back Monday, leading up to the final day of the campaign, which is next Friday. So like there's still more characters to go. So that is a ton of mix and match. So I know that this is an ongoing process with you all.
I have my answer to the previous question, because I mean I will, and it's a surprising one because it's not the character that surprised me most for an unexpected interaction, but I was expecting Scrooge and Goldie to interact in a certain way, and it turned out that the way they play together in the same team is different from what I imagined. And then I went back and recalled their real interaction in the show, in the comics, and I said, "Oh no, Nathan is a genius. This is exactly how it's supposed to be." And so it was all these things going through my brain while playing, which is what makes the game amazing.
Actually, we got an internal question here. More character questions. Of course, there's so many characters. Which game is your favorite unrevealed character from? So, which of the characters we still have surprises up? What universe are they in? I will tell you right now, mine is 100% DuckTales. I am so excited. One of the secret things coming up that I will not reveal, but that is my answer right away.
Same with me. However, since you already said DuckTales, I'm going to go with Goof Troop.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
I think
actually, yeah, the Goof Troop one that we haven't is a good one. I think Gargoyles for me. Just I think I'm pretty excited about the last Gargoyle reveal that we have.
I do agree.
You met some very good Gargoyles fans at Essen, if I recall correctly. Like it seemed to be some people
the Gargoyles fans are loyal people to the brand. They like Gargoyles, which for good reason. The show stands up. Like I've rewatched it, I think 3 times just in the last year.
And my wife, she's a huge fan of Gargoyles, so she's rewatching it as well, and so glad that she gets to play test a little bit.
That's fantastic. So I got to tell you, I thank you guys so much. I think we're hitting time right now. This has been a great show. Once again, the 2 versus 2 has been a heavily requested thing. I'm so happy that you got it to a place that we were comfortable enough announcing it. I don't think it would just the fact that the design took a while, and that you're making sure that it, like Andrea had mentioned, is very meaningful for both players on a team to be able to go back and forth, and it becomes not just I'm splitting a team up, but it's a true like 4-player game. Like I think that's really, really exciting. So I was very, very happy that you guys were here to talk about it today. From everyone at Maestro Media, thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be back on Wednesday. That's going to be right at the time that the campaign hits the final 48 hours. There's a bunch more to reveal. We are going to be joined by the artist James Silvani, who has done all of the character artwork for the game, fronts and backs on the standees. He's done an incredible job, I think. Of course, it makes sense he's done an incredible job. He's been drawing Disney for over 20 years in the comics and has been so involved in those worlds for so long. It's an honor to have him working with us, bringing this game to life visually. Nathan, Andrea, Stefano, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Busy with dozens and dozens and dozens of characters, and I pulled you away from a playtest, I know. And yes, James Silvani also did the box covers as well. I don't want to leave those out. Those have been a lot of fun to watch as they come in and go from sketch to final copy. So he'll be here. Nathan will be back next week as well to answer final design questions. And from everybody here, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great afternoon, and we will see you all soon. Have a good weekend.
Bye.